Welcome everyone, and today we will be explaining an activity to do with infants on their 4th week, and this is intended to strengthen the infant's auditory and visual stimulus and enhance caregiver bonding. This involves making a crib mobile or a dream catcher, and it will require that a piece of elastic about 1/4 inch long as the width of the crib be cut and then tied with 3 knots loosely 3 to 4 inches apart before tying each end to the side of the top rail of the crib. So cutting and slipping 3 shorter pieces about 1/4 inch length again through the loose knots and loosely tying 2 to 3 short pieces to the piece that's extended across the crib. So on the first of the 3 shorter pieces, a colored spool or any colored small object should be securely tied and then pulled tightly to tighten the knot. The spool and any other 2 objects will be attached with the remaining 2 shorter elastic pieces, and they should hang low enough so that the baby will not be able to reach them when they are ready. So the first day, it's important to try the interest of the infant by moving the spool back and forth or the colored object that was placed and observing the infant's eyes, whether they watch the spool and whether they try to grasp the spool, if they smile, and also engaging with the infant as the spool rocks back and forth. On the second day, a plastic lid or anything shiny, even aluminum foil, can be securely tied to the other shorter piece of elastic and placed next to the spool, and again observing the infant's reaction, whether they trace the shiny object or they attempt to grasp it, if they smile, and also moving the spool and the shiny object back and forth to observe the infant's response. On the third day, a bell can be attached, a rattle, any noise producing smaller object to make sound, and again repeating to see if they're observing to see if the infant's reaction, whether they trace the bell or the object that makes noise, if they try to reach for it. And on the remainder of the week, the procedure can be repeated with all 3 objects, and eventually the infant will discover that the spool or the colored object and the shiny object do not make noise, whereas the object that does make noise, they will be able to distinguish whether that's a bell or a rattle that was placed. Also observing the infant to help become aware of any changes. This can be noted in their responses or their movements, whether they reach for the noise-making object or the shiny object, as well as the colored object, if they turn their head more easily or they're lifting their head slightly, if they're following the object, and or if they're trying to move their body to lean in the direction of the light or the colored object, as well as the sound. And then repeating these activities. Again, it doesn't just have to be this week, it can be throughout the course of their infancy. And remember, when moving the body parts, that the body laterally continues to be established, and also to continue to move the infant's entire body at various times, both left and right side, always gently. And it's important to repeat the light and eye exercises and the speaking with them, engaging with them, playing music, and then observing. This is, their first month out of the womb, and observing their adjustment to the environment, their adjustment to touch and different stimulations, and sound. And at various times of the first week's activities, the infants may not show interest, but in continuing to engage with them and reinforce their awareness of their body, both the left and the right side, as well as their sensory, the sensitivity to light and sound, and moving the infant from their stomach onto their back on the 4th week can also help develop their lateral awareness. And lastly, it will stimulate the infant's sensation of their new environment. So again, thank you for listening, and that's it for today. Be sure to subscribe for more content like this, and always remember, the best thing caregivers can spend on their children is time.